welcome to How To. There it is. Where today I'm going to show you how to prototype your first app. Now, you might think that in order to prototype or create a mobile application, aka an app, on your phone, you need to know something about technology. However, I say unto you, it's actually false. In fact, here in Silicon Valley, one of the ways we most commonly start the process of building a mobile application is by using very basic supplies such as paper, Post-its, pens, pencils, and markers, and also scissors to make something that looks and feels like an app, but actually does not even live in your cell phone. Let me show you how to do it. So step one is gather your supplies. You want some normal note cards. They can have lines or no lines. I like the ones with no lines. Or if you don't have any note cards, just take a normal sheet of paper. You can fold it into fourths like this, halfway. You can cut it right around here if you like to make it smaller, and then that way you have a sheet of paper that's about the same size as a note card. So once you have your note cards, pens or pencils, Sharpies, some kind of writing utensil, you can get your Post-its and your scissors, don't forget, you are ready to get started. So the most important thing is that you have multiple pieces of paper or note cards. And once you do, you can begin to create. Now, you might have forgotten that actually you can draw. And the great part for this process is you don't even have to be any good at it. The most important couple of things for you to know when it comes to creating an app are you need some kind of a login screen, right? Like let's say I download your app and it's in the App Store and here we go. I've got your app on my phone. You want some kind of a login screen where people can either sign in or they can create an account. Create account. And here's as easy as it is you basically just create these little buttons by writing on your note card, and then you might also want there to be some kind of a logo. And so for this one, maybe my logo is going to be a tree. Maybe I have an app that's about nature or something like that, because I love nature. So here we go. Boom. This is my first screen. Okay? And the key with this whole process is that you can just think of this note card, even though it's just a note card, as a phone. When you turn it this way, it even looks like a phone screen, right? And so then if somebody else is seeing it for the first time, they can start thinking, oh, these things are a button. Oh, and this is like a logo. Okay, cool. And then they could have the idea of clicking on a button. All right, the next step is once you have your login screen or your sign-in screen, then if somebody were to click the button, sign in. Cool. Then you need a next screen. Like, where are they going to go? And so for this one, I want to pretend that they've already signed in. So maybe the next page has some different boxes or whatever. And then here, let's say the app is all about looking at pictures of trees. So then I would want to create a screen where maybe, we have like a very small tree and it has some leaves on it. Oh, this kind of looks more like a stick, but maybe it's a very small tree. Okay, so then whatever, I just drew what would be on that page, right? And then maybe the feature of my app is that people can choose to favorite it. I guess this is going to be like Tinder for trees. They can either choose to love it, they can either choose like did not love it, or they can choose I don't know, go to the next one, something like this. So here, all I've done is I've just drawn a picture of what I want people to see. Once they click, sign in and make an account or whatever, then boom, here you are in my app, which is all about looking at trees and deciding if you love them, you don't love them so much, or you want to go to the next one, okay? It doesn't have to be perfect. Once you make your second screen, the trick is choose another sheet of paper, and then make your third screen. So let's say that you actually really loved the tree. Then let's say that the next behavior is that I get a screen where, I don't know, maybe it's a game. And instead of something else happening, maybe the tree starts to grow. Like if you love the tree, I'm really just making this up, but if you love the tree, then it starts to get bigger. Okay. Wow. it grew. And then you can choose to click that you love the tree. Again, I don't know, you guys, we're just making this up. It doesn't really matter what the app is. Or you can choose to cancel, like I don't want to do this anymore, or go to the next tree. So then what you have is here in just a few moments, we have your sign in screen. Great, it's a button. Boop, click, sign in. And remember, now you are all the way through. And so this is your tree. Okay, great. And maybe somebody clicks the heart. And then the next thing is, boom, it grew. So then they see like a bigger tree than before. Does that make sense? So you can keep on doing this by just creating different screens. Now, you might remember, and this is the last thing I'll show you for today, you can use a normal Post-it. This is a small one, and Post-its are amazing in every way. This is not yet endorsed by Post-it. And you can do this cool thing where you just kind of get the sticky part and you pull it off. And then if you want to, let's say like I'm worried on this first screen that people are going to have a hard time finding the sign in button. Sometimes what we do is we'll actually just use the sticky part of the Post-it to be the button itself. This kind of gives it a different color. And so I could just write like, sign in on that little piece like this. Now it's a button. Okay, so then now if I test this app with my friend or like give this to them and say, hey, like here's my new iPhone app, want to test it out? And I just give it to them and they can't find sign in without me telling them where it is, then I can just halt, the experiment and I can just move my sign in button to a different place. Let's say they wanted to be like on the tree because they were trying to click on the tree. So then I just move the button there if you want to. So that's the way that you can use Post-its to make it like really easy to go through the process and create a new screen or even move a button around later on in the process. And then the last way, I suppose, I think I might have already said the last way, but the other way that you can use Post-its is, let's say that somebody like really didn't get this thing that I had going on here with like the love, the don't love, the don't love, yeah, whichever one it is. And then the next, okay? So let's say that I just, while I was playing around with it, I was like, you know what? I don't really love the whole idea of the next button. I think instead I want to have a button that lets people donate to, I don't know, conserve the tree or adopt it or something like that. So I can just use that little sticky part of the Post-it, right? And then where I had my little next button that I don't want to have anymore, I can just, replace it with the money button. And then now we have something totally new. Does that make sense? And then maybe because I've changed that button, I would want it to go to a separate screen if somebody chooses it. So then that's when I can start just using a couple more sheets of this index card paper to just create a few more screens. And by the end, I'll have this really neat stack of screens that I can start just going through one by one with a friend. And basically, you're just role playing what it would be like to have an app. It makes it really, really easy to change things that you don't love or to just feel fun and playful with an idea that you're not too serious about. I think that's a leading cause of things never getting built. It's just we get too worried about how it's going to work or what it's going to be like. So it's really, really nice to do an easier and faster version of your first app or your first idea. I would do maybe 5 or 6 different screens like this and then just grab a friend around the house and say, hey, I have this app idea. Can you just go through it? And I'll show you in the next video how to maybe run a test like that with a friend. But for now, just create some screens with stuff you have lying around the house and you will be on track to building your very first web application. This is Megan Gary in How to Prototype Your First App. See you next time.